listening to Marvel Talk with JT. And here's your host, JT.
Hello everyone, this is Marvel Talk with JT and I'm your host, JT. And today's episode we are going to be looking at Daredevil Born Again Episode 3 titled The Hollow of His Hand. Like we're going to do with all these episodes and like you already know, first half is going to be all about my thoughts and opinions on the episode. Then we're going to shift gears and go into the spoiler aspect of the episode. Then we're going to end with what the people think. So, let's start things off. This episode, in my opinion, probably the best of the three that we've gotten so far. Remember last week we started off with episodes 1 and 2 of the premiere, and then we went into this episode. Again, all the episodes will drop on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Memphis time, so that's Central Time for anybody who's listening, so y'all can do the math with that. But don't take it from me. On IMDb, who lists all the episodes and shows and movies and whatnot, they have episode 1 through 3 already rated, quote unquote. Episode 1 was an 8.6 out of 10. Episode 2 was an 8.5 out of 10. And episode 3 is an 8.8 out of 10. So IMDb thinks it's the better of the three. Now, they're all great episodes, don't get me wrong, but Episode 3 brought something that we have not seen in a long time, and I loved it, and it's some things that I think a lot of people that I've talked to said that it's what they really wanted to see, and that was, we got to see Matt Murdock in his element doing the lawyer stuff. I mean, he was in the courtroom, he was putting people on trial, and if you remember, we're looking at the trial of Hector Ayala. If I'm pronouncing that last name wrong, I duly apologize. But this is White Tiger, the vigilante White Tiger. So Hector is on trial for the murder of an NYPD cop. But what we know is he didn't really do anything. He tried to stop a mugging, and the officer slipped and got hit by a train. That's what we know. But what they're going against is saying that he provoked the fight and Hector pushed the cop and killed him. So, yeah, there's some shady business going on, but that's the politics of the MCU, that MCU life that we're living in. This episode was really, really dynamic in the sense that it felt like a courtroom drama, which I was really, really excited about. We do get a final verdict on the case, and we get to see, does justice serve its purpose or does justice not? I mean, it's the simple fact of, is how good of a lawyer is Matt Murdock? Is he one of the best? Is he just subpar? You kind of get the sense where this episode is going throughout it. And to me, I was really, really encapsulated with how great it gathers all the information, and even when something gets slapped in the face like Matt Murdock does within the trial and things start going wrong, you can immediately shift gears and you can turn this on its head and hopefully win it for you and your client. We also get to see how Kingpin is doing and what he's been up to, and how him and Vanessa are going through the struggles of Kingpin coming back, knowing that Vanessa has been having an affair. Vanessa running the mob business, and Kingpin saying like, hey, I'm back. I don't want to do this. I'm the mayor. I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to do it the right way, in my opinion. So a lot of this is coming together, and you can see how these episodes are starting to play out. Before we get into spoilers, I will say, before there was a complete overhaul in rewriting this show, the first episodes 2 and 3, I should say, were supposed to be episodes 1 and 2 before the overhaul. So, if that makes sense, you'll understand it. But we're at the halfway mark, I guess, of this episode, 5 minutes in. I'm going to shift into some spoilers. So if you don't want to get spoiled by this episode, then go ahead and click away. You can listen whenever you watch the episode. But we're going to start talking about spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Hector Ayala is not guilty. He comes out clean with the help of some unprovoked and unnecessary tactics by one Matt Murdock. Matt does have a plan A and I guess a plan B. Plan A was to get the guy who Hector was trying to, help on the substation or subway station. He was trying to help the guy, and the guy was going to, basically go on trial and say, yeah, I was being mugged by these, undercover NYPD. But the guy gets on stand and he lies. He lies on oath, and he says, no, I was not there. I was at home all night. And so all of that stuff starts crumbling down on Matt and Hector, and it looks bleak. It looks bad. And so Matt goes into his bag and he pulls out, for plan B, the White Tiger mask and announces that Hector Ayala is the White Tiger. And that opens up it's a smart move, because now you have a flood of people coming out and saying, I was being robbed, I was in a car accident, something was going on, and the White Tiger was there. The White Tiger helped. The White Tiger this, the White Tiger that. And so Matt was using this as this guy's a good guy. He's not going to hurt or kill a cop. Why would he do that? Well, the defense, or the other side of the coin, was kind of saying, yeah, but like, everyone has a dark side, and just because he did a good thing doesn't mean he's a good person. So there's a solid case for both sides, but Matt ended up coming out with the victory. Fisk and Vanessa are going through some stuff, and Vanessa is trying to still do the mob business, but Fisk does not want to. He kind of wants to take things and do it his own, and so he's kind of saying, like, let the mob and let like all that shady stuff work itself out. People are going to kill each other. It's going to come out, and then I, as mayor, am going to clean it up, and it'll look good on me. So you see how he's playing 3D chess in a sense, and I love it. So Hector gets the verdict. He's not guilty. He is actually trying to buy a home for him and his wife and niece and sister and basically his whole family, and that's why he was out that night, and just so happens to stumble upon this situation. So we learn all this, and after he gets the verdict, he's free. He get to do whatever. So what does he do? He goes and he puts on the White Tiger suit. He dons the medallion and the necklace, and he puts on the mask. It was an amazing scene, and he's running to go help someone who looks like they're getting mugged. And then he gets shot in the head and dies. Yeah. This show takes you on an emotional ride. I'm not talking about just this episode. The entire show, the first episode with Foggy's death to this one with White Tiger dying, it really is an emotional roller coaster, because once you start feeling really good about a character and once you start really liking them, they're dead. And this is what happens. Now, let me rewind. In the comics, there is a female version, which is Hector's niece. So she is introduced in the MCU. So there is a possibility of her becoming the White Tiger down the line, but she's a little younger, so that's not going to happen immediately, I don't think. She could be a part of the Young Avengers. That's getting down a whole rabbit hole that we'll discuss in a later episode, hopefully. But yeah, who shoots White Tiger? It is, well, we don't know who it is, but we see the camera pan, and this person is walking towards the camera, and you see the Punisher skull logo come to life, and that's how the episode ends. Now, is this Frank Castle? I do not think so. I don't think this is Frank. I don't think this is the work of our Punisher that we know. What I think this is I think this is a group of crooked cops in the NYPD, and they are using Frank's symbol as a kind of martyr, as like this is the symbol of justice. We are going to take things in our own hands, because Frank he's a violent guy, but he's doing it for the right reasons. That's a question. And these cops are using that symbol. So that's how you're going to get introduced to Frank Castle in this show, I believe. And you're going to see him kind of be like, yo, that's my symbol. You got to stop using it. You get where I'm going at? That's how we're going to get Frank in this episode. It was a great episode, guys. I'm really excited. I really loved this episode, honestly. We're going to take a look at some of the things that people have said about, the episode, because, again, a lot of people really like this episode, and I'm all here for it, and I'm really glad that people liked it, truthfully, because it helps with a conversation. So Trevor, as I mentioned last week, he's a good friend of mine. He comes out and says, Daredevil Born Again. Going into the episode, there was a really far step into showing how great of a lawyer Matthew Murdock really is. The way he defended the White Tiger really showed his compassion for doing what's right, until he decides to reveal that his defendant is secretly the vigilante known as White Tiger. When he revealed that information, my jaw was on the floor. When all said and done, by the end of the episode, it gives you the sense that the good guy will always prevail, until the shocking end that left me saying WTF. Yeah, I'm on the same thought process as Trevor, because Madison and I were watching it, and I remember when that happened, I was like, yo, like I was just shocked. I also forgot to mention this, but I do believe that Kingpin is behind it. I do believe Kingpin knows about the crooked cops, and he's the one telling them, yeah, go do this, go do that. I also took to Twitter, asking some people, hey, could you give me your thoughts and opinions on it? We have Hop Geeks News, Matt, good friend. He says, it's good to see that feeling of that no character is safe, regardless of status, come back. It's something he hasn't felt since Guardians of the Galaxy. I agree wholeheartedly. You start to love these characters, like I mentioned, and then they're gone. And then Josh Allen from Twitter also says, the best episode of Law & Order that isn't made by Dick Wolf, and I mean that in the best way possible. Again, I agree 100%. You get to see the Law & Order aspect, the court side of it. One thing that I really was kind of disappointed with She-Hulk in is the fact that we didn't get a lot of lawyer talk. That's fine. She-Hulk is not about all. She is a lawyer, but she's not. I wasn't expecting it, but I was hoping to get a little more than what we got. This episode, we got that times 10. You really got to see the ins and outs of Matt Murdock as a lawyer and not Daredevil, and it's great to see. Some other people that chimed in, who wanted me to use their name anonymously. One person said that this was their favorite episode, and they can't wait to see the reintroduction or the emergence of Frank Castle. Yeah, I agree. Someone else said, not a lot of Daredevil, isn't that what the show is called? ? I really feel like Daredevil needs to come soon, or it will start losing its fan base. And when I talked to this person about it, and I said, I agree. I like Daredevil as a character, as a vigilante, but we want to see Matt Murdock. We want to see how his lawyer status is. He gave up the mantle when Foggy died, and he didn't give it up, but he kind of like put it on hiatus. He retired almost. He's gonna bring it back. I mean, in episode 2, he had a gun to his head, and even Charlie Cox said in an interview, he said, yeah, when Matt Murdock was saying, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this, he wasn't talking about the guy holding the gun to his head. He was talking to himself. He was telling Matt not to do this again, not to bring out Daredevil. I do believe Daredevil's coming, and I believe that we're going to see that side of our favorite Devil from Hell's Kitchen very, very soon. But that will do it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Comment down below, or let me know if you have any questions, or if you want to give me your thoughts on the episode. And we will be back for episode 4 next week. But until then, I'll see you.